Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy New Year. This is Shanti YGO, and welcome back to another video. I just came back from my break, and now I'm ready to create some more content with you guys. This is branded Despia. This is going to be the deck that will basically be a part of the meta now that the ban list has dropped and is in effect, and this deck basically went untouched. And this is going to be my take on how to pilot the deck. So let's get right onto it. First, for the basics, ratios: triple Aliber, triple Albas, one Albion, one Tragedy, and one Mercurier. These are basically standard. I played 3 Albas. I think everybody realized that 3 Albas is the move now because this card is really good at breaking boards and just basically gather as much going second potential as possible, because this card is just extremely insane in terms of like cracking like all those boards that your opponent can make up for. I don't play ad libitum in this build because I feel like, because I play Gimmick Puppet, and I feel like having the ad libitum just increase the break chance of this deck, because sometimes you draw into dead hands and ad libitum will be a part of that dead hand. So that's the reason why I cut ad libitum. I don't see any reason to play the ad libitum at all. So that's basically the standard ratios. For the girls, 2 Cartesia and 2 Quem. So the idea of 2 Quem is that it is for the grind game. The second Quem comes up every single time I play this deck. You can basically summon it out off of branded opening if you open an Aluber and opening in hand, or you can also to generate even more advantage. And in the grind game, you're gonna go through 2 of this. So getting to like the second one off of the Deer Servant or branded opening is just extremely good in terms of like tutor out those kind of monsters in the graveyard, especially with how fusion heavy this deck is, along with Cartesia. So you're gonna have Quem live every single time. So it's just good to have 2. Some people play it at 1, but personally I think 2 is the better number in terms of my playstyle. So the bestial monsters: 1 Lubellion, 1 Sarnia, and 1 Magnum Hood. Engine requirement is only these 2, but I played the Magnum Hood because I want to unbreak hands. This card unbreaks so many hands that I have, especially with the existence of Mercurier and Tragedy. This card unbreaks a lot of hands. It also adds you to Fallen Albas if you see these bestials already in rotation. You can add back the Sarnia Engrave, or you can add the Albas Engrave to break boards even further, or for follow-up as well. So I think that this is the really good ratio for the bestials in themselves. The only hand trap I play in this deck is 3 Ash. Ash is really important in this deck. Not mandatory, but in this format in itself, especially with decks like Labyrinth, Fire Kings, Rescue A still going around, and like in the mirror match for branded, I think having this card in the main deck is extremely important in terms of basically disrupting them. They're still the best hand trap, and a well-timed Ash can basically end their turn. So very good card in this deck. And then I play the 1 Gimmick Puppet. Basically the win con going first for this deck now. And then 1 Dogmatic Maximus. So Maximus is an engine requirement if you're playing the Deer Servant. To basically playing AntiAsh, this card is a part of it. Also, it helps you set up a billion of disruptions. It helps you set up a billions of like ways to recur from your graveyard. It's just like absolutely insane. So having the Maximus is really nice. And then moving on to the spells, we have the basic ratios that everybody basically consensus agree on onto playing branded. 3 branded fusion, 3 branded opening. Really good card. This card can cheat out Aluber, Tragedy, or Quem, depending on the situation, but 9 times out of 10 is either Aluber or Quem. 1 branded loss, 1 branded in red, and 1 branded retribution. Pretty straightforward. The branded 9, as we say, the branded 9 that will never leave if you're playing the pure branded Despia variant. So. Also, 3 Fusion Deployment. Very good card. This card going first is really good going first and second. Going first, you most likely will make Cartesia, but going second, you can cheat out the Albas, which is the really important part about this card. And it's also like a way to dig you through the engine and to make plays, even though you have a very bad hand. So let's say you open with a Tragedy, and this card, you can go into the Cartesia and fuse away the Tragedy to keep on playing. So it's just a really good card in terms of like unbreaking your hand and all that stuff, and also to break boards as well. 1 Foolish and 1 Goatsark for consistency purposes. Foolish to dump the Tragedy, Goatsark banish Tragedy, banish the Courier, also facilitate the Bishio play as well. And then 3 copies of Super Poly. I think this card is mandatory in this format, in this deck, especially with the rise of the Fire Kings and like the Fire decks is coming into the next format. And all of these similar type decks, like Labyrinth, once they put like 2 or more monsters on their board, this card just basically breaks their entire deck. And to basically play around the, let's say they have an SP Little Knight, which is a dark, so like a dark deck that this card could just eat up basically for free. So definitely one of the best cards in the format right now. And for anti-Ash measures, because this deck hates Ash Blossom, I play triple Nadir Servant. Nadir can go into Dogmatic and Maximus 90% of the time, but going second, this card can go into Quem, which is absolutely amazing. This sends Garura, Garura draws you a card, and then Maximus banish the Garura, send another 2 from extra deck for free, which can help you facilitate a million plays with this. Along with that is the one called by the Grave, self-explanatory, 2 thrusts, and then the 1 fusion duplication for the anti-Ash aspect of the deck. Now, extra deck. We have basically a pretty standard extra deck in itself. 2 Albion. You need 2 because you're gonna send one of them and make one of them. So it's a recursion tool, as well as a way to facilitate even more fusions. 1 Lobelion. You only need 1, because you're gonna recycle this off of your brand fusion plays, off of the Albion and all that stuff, the basic combos. 2 Mirror Jade. You need 2. Like, some people plays with 1, but you're gonna need 2 of this card because you're gonna run through 2 Mirror Jade more than you think in the long run. So this card is just absolutely bonkers. The reason why you're playing this deck is because of Mirror Jade. 1 Titaniclad. This card is an out to Pearly, and especially Pearly Nor in this deck, because this card can get really huge. In terms of numbers, it can get up to basically 3,800, and then the Pearly Nor, if you don't have the Sleepy Memory under it, which most likely you don't because it's at 1, this card will beat over it because it's unaffected by cards from the extra deck, so it's just a free clears off of that monsters. 1 Rinbrum. Now this card is even better because it's now a super polyable target off of Albas, and with all the Fire Kings decks with Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, very good card to break those kind of boards. 1 Sanctifier, the Gimmick Puppet Lock enabler. This card cannot be targeted and cannot be used as fusion material, so it's immune to Super Poly, immune to Impermanent Veil, which are the 2 biggest threats in the format right now, especially with effect negations. Targeting effect negations, which is absolutely insane. 1 Coritis, 1 Lulu, and 1 Grand Guignol. The Grand Guignol package. This card can cheat out these 2, but most of the time this card will be sent off of the Maximus for generating advantages, depending on like the kind of hand situation that you have. 1 Guardian Chimera for branded in red. Pretty self-explanatory. And then the Super Poly package, which is the Mud Dragon, Garura, and Despia. I don't play Dragoon in this deck because I think that having the Dark Magician as a brick in the deck, it just makes no sense. And also this deck discards a lot of a brand opening, Super Poly, Albaz. I don't think having the Dragoon discard is going to help it because in my personal belief that the engine in itself is strong enough, the board that it puts up is strong enough to basically play through everything without disruption. And if you have to rely on Dragoon to basically win your game, I believe that something has definitely gone wrong in your line. So, and because with all these engines in the deck, I don't think Dragoon is any necessary at all in this deck. So, side deck, triple Bal. I think Bal in this format is mandatory now because it's just too good against Fire Kings. Decks like that, like Fire Kings, Labyrinth, Branded, all these like graveyard cards, and especially once Promethean Princess come out, this card is going to be even stronger in the sideboard. So definitely a must play now in the sideboard, in my personal opinion. Triple Droll and Lockbird, best hand trap of the format. This is the format for Joel. It's still the best card in the format. No questions asked. Triple DD Crow. Initially, this was Bishop Druid Swarm, but Crow covers way more matchup, especially the fire decks. You can also hit like Promethean Princess, all the Snake Eye stuff in the graveyard to get it out of the way. So this card is just absolutely amazing to get rid of those kind of threats. And then one Abalenitus. This is for Dragon Link. You set this in against Dragon Link, and then you basically just set Albaz and Super Volley the entire board. One Masquerade to go for time. Just a free win. Going to game 3, going first, having this card, the opponent activate multiple effects. It's just burn and they just lose the game on the spot. And then last but not least are 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone and 1 copies of Harpy Beta Duster. Thrust can search Harpy Beta Duster for back row removal. Also is Cosmic Cyclone. But one thing that's really good about Cosmic Cyclone right now is this existence of Centurion. This card beats Centurion by themselves. If you hit the field spell, you hit their back row, they basically cannot play the game. So this is your win con against that deck. So having the Cosmic Cyclone could basically win you the game. So that is it for the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Happy New Year once again. And now I'm back. I'm going to create even more content, uploading more deck lists for you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.